Welcome back, everyone. So MetaPhotoAI version 3.0 is here. Finally, it's been a while since I've released a new version. It's been, I don't know, maybe like 11 months or so. But during that time, I've been busy at work, making it better than ever. So this is a complete rebuild from the ground up to improve the functionalities in just about every single way. Here you can see on the screen the new website showcasing some of its new abilities. Like you can generate metadata for 1,500 images in about 3 minutes. That's blazing fast. There's support for a ton of different image formats, including RAW files, EPS, SVGs, HEIC files, the typical PNG and JPEGs. Just about every format is supported. There's 12 different languages supported for the interface. So you switch to Japanese, for example, and the entire interface switches to Japanese. So that's pretty powerful. And this version also includes the ability to utilize local models. So if your computer is relatively new, then you might have the ability to run some of these local AI models and enabling you to process your metadata completely offline. So nothing being sent anywhere and you're not utilizing any credit. So in fact, you can get this and just enable local processing and not pay anything, basically. This only works for photos, though. At the moment, videos aren't supported for offline processing. So here you can see, yeah, I'm just demonstrating or showing how many different formats is supported. So just about every single RAW file and the standard image formats and video formats. So let's jump into MetaPhotoAI and do a quick demonstration of some of the features. All right, so this is MetaPhotoAI version 3.0, specifically version 3.0.15. And you can see the version number down here in the left corner. All right, so I'm just going to add some images. I have some photos and videos on my desktop. I'm going to utilize those. So we go to add folder. And let's start off with, let's do this folder here. So I'm just going to click open. And you can see it brings in all of the images. There we go. And right off the bat, let's just go ahead and start generating metadata for these. So I'm going to click on generate and say batch generate. And it tells you that, you know, there's 42 images and it's going to utilize 42 credits to accomplish this task. So we'll confirm and it kicks off that batch right there. And we can process multiple batches at once. That includes video files and any other file formats. So you can see that was relatively fast for 42 images. If we look back at our batch, you can see that the 42 images took 18 seconds, relatively fast. And those are all good. So from here, I can upload directly to Shutterstock or Adobe Stock. So for example, if I was to highlight a couple of these and then go over to upload, I'm going to say upload these to, let's do Shutterstock for now. And it kicks off that job. And we'll just give it a second. And as you can see, while it's uploading, and it's done right there. But it gives you these little indications that they've been uploaded. So if we hop over to Shutterstock here, there we have the images that we just uploaded from MetaPhotoAI. And you can see we have the information that was generated. So we can do, let's go ahead and demonstrate for videos. So I'm going to go ahead and I have these sample videos. I'm just going to pull those in. It's going to go ahead and generate some preview images. All right, so the previews are generated, and we can see if we click on it, it gives us a quick preview. All right, so obviously these aren't the best quality videos. They're just for demonstration. So let's go ahead and generate metadata for all of these videos. I'm just going to click batch generate. And videos are different and they consume a lot more processing power and resources on the back end. So they do require a little bit more credits than an image would. So to process one video is 4 credits, whereas to process one image, it's 1 credit. So keep that in mind when you're processing. All right, so let's go ahead and confirm, and there we have it. So that job has been started and it should complete in a few seconds here. All right, and that's done. So just like photos, it's the same process. The only difference with videos is that metadata is not embedded within the videos. There isn't any stock agencies at the moment that supports embedded metadata in the videos. All right, and we can go ahead and upload these to Shutterstock as well. And just to show you, we currently have no pending videos in Shutterstock waiting to be processed. All right, so let's head back to MetaPhotoAI and we're going to upload directly from the software. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of these here, and I'm just pressing Control or Shift and click to select a range of files. And from there, I'm going to go to Upload again, and let's choose Shutterstock. And it's similar to images, it's the same process. It's just larger files when we're dealing with videos. But as you can see, it's already kicked off that job and it's going. All right, so while that's going, let's go ahead and start another batch. So I'm just gonna import some additional photos here. All right, so I have these raw files and let's do that. So open, and you can see instantly we have all of the previews for these raw files, and we have Olympus raw files and we have Canon raw files mixed in with some JPEGs. All right, so let's go ahead and generate metadata for all of these raw files here. All right, so that's been started. And it should be done in any second. So you can see the upload to Shutterstock was completed. So we're going to check that out in a second. And all of our raw files now has metadata attached. And it also does embed the metadata within the raw files. All right, so let's see if our videos are on Shutterstock. And there you have it. So our videos did successfully upload to Shutterstock. So one of my absolute favorite feature of version 3 is the ability to create workflows. So what that means is that you can stack a bunch of different steps for the application to complete. So for example, we can generate metadata, generate categories, export a CSV, and then upload it to a stock agency. And then when that's all complete, send me an email when it's finished. So we do have that ability in MetaPhoto AI version 3, and I'm gonna show that to you right now. All right, so if we go to workflows, we can manage workflows, and from here we can create different workflows. And for the sake of time, I've already created a couple different ones here. So for this Adobe Stock one, I chose a name, and it's metadata, and then to Adobe. So the first action is to generate metadata, then generate categories, write the metadata to the files, and then I'm going to have it upload to Adobe Stock. And we can choose to have it upload to all of the agencies that we have configured in the application. And then after which I'm going to have it send me a notification. And currently I have it set to send me a notification by email. All right, so let's go ahead and run this workflow. So for this one, I'm going to import some new images. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. All right, so we have some photos here, and we can select a specific number of images and perform the workflow on those images, or we can perform the workflow on the folder itself. So in this case, I'm gonna perform the workflow on a select few images. So let's say these here. Okay, so I've selected 27, and I'm going to say go ahead and start the workflow for the selected images. And it kicked off that workflow job. If we come over here, we can see it, and you can see it already started generating the metadata. So if we go over to Adobe Stock right now, you can see I currently have no pending images awaiting. All right, so categories have been generated. Now it's uploading, and you can see as it uploads, you will get this indication showing you where it was uploaded to and when. So once that's completed, I should get a email telling me that, the workflow was completed. All right, so that's done. I should get an email shortly informing me that it's been completed. All right, so there you can see we have the email from MetaPhotoAI informing us that the workflow was successfully completed. And now if we go over to Adobe Stock, we should have the images available. I do notice that Adobe Stock sometimes take a little while to process the images that you upload, whether that's images or videos. So I'm just going to stay here and refresh this a little until they finally come in. And finally. So yeah, Adobe Stock can take a bit of time to process the images. But here we have it. These are the 27 images that we generated metadata for. So there is a ton of different configurations that you can do in the software. There is a lot. So if we go to the settings window, you can see all of the different settings that we can configure. There is quite a lot. So if you're looking for an application that gives you a lot of control over how your metadata is generated, then surely this is for you. We also have the ability to have settings specific per folder. So if we go over to folder settings, for example, you can see all of these would apply specifically to this folder. So any metadata generated in this folder would take these settings into consideration if it is enabled. So let's go ahead and enable that now. So you can see that we have folder settings being applied, and all of these would apply to any metadata generated in this folder. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that right now. We're going to utilize the system prompt. So I'm going to do something simple, perhaps a little ridiculous, but it does illustrate the point. So I'm going to say to the AI, please add -- tester as a suffix for the title and the description. Also, please add tester as a keyword. All right, so that's done. I don't have to click save or anything. It automatically saves. So let's select 2 images and see what happens here. All right, so I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to hold the shift key and select the other image. And I'm going to right click and say generate metadata. Now in a few seconds, we should have our metadata generated. And would you look at that? In the title, we have the suffix tester. In the description, we have -- tester as we instructed. And as a keyword, we have tester. The same applies for this other image. So you can see how powerful that feature can be. If you're doing, for example, industry-specific images that are very unique, you can instruct the AI on how you want to generate metadata for those images or videos. Or if you routinely, take like macro images that are very hard to distinguish what they are, you can instruct the AI on what to do in that regard. So that's just a quick introduction to MetaPhotoAI version 3. There is so much more. To go over everything that's included, it would take hours. But you can give it a try for yourself. Just head to metaphotoai.io and download it. There is a free trial. Actually, there is a free tier, so that does refresh every month. So give it a try. Ton of features. I'm fairly responsive, so you can, shoot me an email if you have any questions or if you have feature requests. If you do have any requests or anything or bug request, please do it through the application. There is this feedback thing here. You can just hit feedback and send me a feedback. You can include a screenshot or upload images if you want. If you're reporting a bug, it's very helpful if you include the log files, so I can see specifically what's happening when your issue is coming up. All right, so I will be releasing more videos specifically highlighting some of the features on MetaPhotoAI. So that's it for me for today, and until next time, have a good one.